All right, we are back. Another episode of Plotting. Very excited about this. This is a show. Look, I love this show. You know, it gives me a chance to just talk about how terrible cinema has become today, how far we've come from Citizen Kane, which was also garbage. For anybody who's ever watched it and says otherwise, you're an idiot. You've been brainwashed. Orson Welles, whatever. I don't know. Maybe he was good in other stuff. Citizen Kane sucks. But
I feel like the only reason you brought that up is to flex that you know who did Citizen Kane.
No, but I actually had to watch Citizen Kane when I was in college. I took a motion picture class or something like that, whatever. But yeah, the thing that I learned in that, you had to take a test or whatever. And so one of the things that I learned, and I'm going to forget who the guys, I think it was W.E.B. Du Bois. But it was a piece of trivia that we learned for some reason, we learned this or whatever, but it was that this actor kicked a baby. And we saw the clip and he literally kicks a baby and it's hilarious.
Punts the baby.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't punt him. It's not like a free kick. He didn't drop kick him like he was in the NFL.
Okay.
But he straight up kicks a baby. He just legitimately kicks a baby. Yeah, it's my favorite thing that I've ever seen, maybe in my whole life. It's hilarious. It's objectively one of the funniest things ever. But in that class, I had to watch Citizen Kane. It's fucking garbage. It's terrible. I hate that movie. Rosebud. I didn't like it. But I'm guessing it was probably better than whatever we're doing today. So for those that don't know the game, you're telling me the title of a movie that I've never seen before. I have no idea what's coming. I'm going to try and guess what it is. And then you're going to tell me what it's actually about, and we're going to see how close I got. That's the game here. That's what we're trying to do. So let's get into it. Hit me with the title. Let me see if I can figure it out. What do you got today?
Okay. This is a Netflix top 10. It's currently ranked number 2, and it is a movie that came out this year, 2021. The title is Outside the Wire.
Oh, outside. Ooh. I might actually like this movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Outside the Wire. All right, so
what this
is, look, it's trending number 2. People love sci-fi stuff. Here's where I'm going with it, all right? Futuristic prison, basically wire, quote-unquote, wire fencing, like you do with the dog, that invisible fence shit, where they run and then they get zapped and stuff. That style, but with the people, they're trying to escape. This is boom, fucking nailed it. Great Escape remake, right? Great Escape, one of my dad's favorite movies. I've seen it with him 4 times. Loves that movie. You've never seen
What is that movie about?
Great Escape is about, you ever heard of the show Hogan's Heroes by any chance?
I have heard of it.
Okay, so Hogan's Heroes is basically a spoof of The Great Escape. And The Great Escape is about American POWs in Nazi Germany during World War II who then literally escape from the prison. The entire thing is they've been taken in. And so at the beginning, they get taken in and then they go and they dig this big tunnel to get past the fence or whatever, and then they make their escape, and then it's how do they escape, and they have different ways of going in different countries they're going to go to, and they're going on the trains and whatever. But Steve McQueen is the guy. Steve McQueen, he's the head guy, and he does all his own stunts. That's one of his things. He was a big stunt guy. He was Tom Cruise before Tom Cruise. And in the end, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the 1964, I believe, Great Escape, maybe 68, I can't remember. Anybody who hasn't seen it, at the end, Steve McQueen is trying to get away, and he's driving through the countryside of Germany, maybe Austria, on a motorcycle, and the Nazis basically catch up to him and they shoot him in front of this truck.
I feel like I've seen that scene before.
It's a really good
that scene.
Yeah. No, it's super famous. It's a super famous scene. He is, Steve McQueen was the guy. Steve McQueen was the dude. It's a pretty decent movie. Yeah, whatever. It's a little dated, all that stuff. But That's what this is. It's a futuristic Great Escape. These people trying to get out, but here's how they make it 2021. Mixed gender prison. Boom. Nailed it. Send me a check. Send me the Oscar. Fucking crush this movie. It's going to be awesome. That's what this is about.
The only part you crushed was that it was like sci-fi in the future.
Okay, well, now I'm going to like this movie, I'm assuming, a lot less because mine was pretty fantastic.
What was it?
Yeah, 100% objectively.
Your really creative plot twist of being dual gender.
Yeah, it's like Van Wilder meets The Great Escape, like two of cinema's greatest properties creating a baby for people in 2021. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, mine is way better. All right, so what is this actually about? What's the futuristic version of this?
When a disgraced drone pilot, Lieutenant Harp, is sent to a deadly militarized zone after disobeying orders, he finds himself working for Captain Leo, an android officer tasked with locating a doomsday device before insurgents do. So the android officer is AI. So it's a robot.
Yeah.
And it's a classified the captain is a classified military device. So the reason this lieutenant was picked is because he had an issue with disobeying orders. And he was sent to this guy because the captain needed someone who could think outside the box.
The captain AI needed to think outside the box. So this is a sentient?
He can do some stuff. Yes. Yeah. I think your question that you're just going to ask.
Okay. So can the robot, all right. Okay. All right. Fuck this plot. That is ludicrous.
I knew it when you said you might be interested. I got all excited because I knew it was going to drop.
No, fuck these people. Okay, this robot. So you're telling me that this robot is a sentient being, which ostensibly means that it can think for itself, and according to the plot, is so sentient and so aware of what's happening in the world that it knows it needs someone who can think outside of its own norm. But this genius fucking AI can't learn how to think for itself outside the box? That is bullshit.
The idea is that the android officer cannot do everything, but he needs someone to he needs one other person to kind of help him, but he needs someone who is a more creative thinker because it has to align with his way of doing things, which I guess most humans can't. And the other thing is it shows him having a strong emotional range. Like his informants are children, and he's like, "You think I have more emotions than you think I do?" It also talks about him, like whether or not the android officer is going to fall to corruption, and they have a tracker in his back, and I think the Lieutenant Harp, who's going to work with him, might take it out. So there might be some I guess play out of like AI picking which way does AI go, since they have so much more power than humans. Are they good or bad?
What the fuck are you talking about? What? Hold on. Okay. What? I'm so confused right now. All right, so you're telling me, so he's got children that are his informants. What does that mean? They're diming on people in this area, this slum, basically. So it's kids in the slum who are diming on other people, I guess. So basically, this AI guy is like a quintessential like hoodlum drug dealer using children as his lookouts, is what you're telling me. That's what this AI. So what this AI has learned from humans is the bad part of, or like the bad things that we do as a society sometimes. That's what you're telling me. He's learned the negative elements, like the seediest elements of our society. That's what this AI guy does.
It is being framed that
Mhm.
he is doing it in a nice way, like he plays with the children and he knows that they
Yeah,
pick up
look,
on things.
drug dealers give kids
But
like candy and shit. So like, yeah, the children are being compensated in real life too. Like that's how it works, at least according to like all of the drug movies I've ever seen. So
yes,
basically what you're telling me is that this guy, he's a drug dealer. He's a 21st century drug dealer, right? Well, no, you said futuristic, so maybe 22nd century. Either way, he is a
it's supposed to
futuristic
be
drug
near
dealer.
future, so who knows?
Oh, okay, so 21st. Okay, all right. And so, but he's sanctioned by the U.S. government. This is like a U.S. government thing.
Yes, this is
right?
a classified U.S. government.
Okay, and so you're saying this
weapon.
is a dystopia in that what we are now doing, or what we are now sanctioning, is basically like, this is actually like government sanctioned a few good men situation, like who ordered the code red. This guy fucks up and they're like, we're gonna code red you to the slums with this fucking robot.
Yes.
So basically what like the US government is now just like publicly doing what Jack Nicholson did in A Few Good Men privately, but we're just doing it publicly now. That's basically what's happening.
As far as I know.
Okay.
That's how I
am, look, I get it. You know, people are interested in AI. People are like, hey, what's up? This is kind of interesting. Is AI going to be good? Is AI going to be bad? You know, all this stuff. Like, let's put a pack in this thing. And then this guy comes and he's a real rebel. He'll take it out. We'll be like, oh, we can't track it anymore. What's going to happen? All that stuff. It's boring. That's super boring. You know, like it's super boring. It's actually more interesting. Like my first understanding of what you said is actually more interesting. Like having an AI robot who can learn things, but is aware of their own limitations from a cognitive standpoint. That's actually way more interesting, right? To have an actual cognitive limitation on infinite computing ability is a way more interesting plot line than this robot is a drug dealer and the US government punishes their bad employees by making them be drug dealers. Like that's way more interesting. My thing is way more interesting because this is just like robots good, robots bad. Like this is so like mine had like what they're trying to do here, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to go in and they're trying to be like, oh, well, let's have some nuance, or you know, like let's have that sort of thing. Mine is way more nuanced. Where it's like robots can learn, but the human mind is so strong that even though all the stuff we know and like all these algorithms and everything that can predict our behavior and everything, like all of those things, even quantum computing, which is a whole different discussion, but even quantum computing, which by the way is basically needed, like you basically need quantum computing to have this sort of thing. Like I'm not a computer expert, all those things, but like the supercomputers that we have today basically can't do, and I'm assuming they never will be able to do what a human brain does, right? The second that you have, because the way that computing works today is everything is binary, right? It's binary code, all that stuff. It's one or the other, right? And the way quantum computing works is it's an infinite number of possibilities, right? I mean, not exactly, but more or less like that's how it is. So instead of being one or the other, it could be one of a billion. As opposed to two answers, you can have a billion answers within the same little set of data, which basically is what the human brain does, right? So in order to do this, we're in a world wherein quantum computing has actually worked, right? Like qubits and all that shit, like all those words have actually happened. But it's way more interesting
in the near future.
Yeah, which is fine. Like it's coming, all that stuff, whatever. Like people are doing, you know, cool things with it and all that stuff, whatever. But in that world, it's way more interesting instead of just in this world where there's infinite possibilities and the computer just has to decide, is it good or is it bad? It's way more interesting for the computer to be like, I still have limitations on what I can do. I still can't learn what you can teach me. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and now that's a more human, that's a more like pro-human movie or whatever. Like almost explicitly pro-human, like, hey, humans have these endless possibilities and all that stuff. But that's a way more interesting thing that I've never seen done. I've never actually, like, I never thought about that until you said it. And I was like, oh, that's actually like, I'm actually kind of pumped about that, because it's sort of interesting that somebody would say, hey, the computer itself will have limits, as opposed to just, because nobody knows about computers. Like, we don't understand computers, you know what I mean? Like the lay people, like me, you, like whatever. I know how to turn it on, but like I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not smart enough to understand like how that works. But it's super interesting if the computer knows, like, but that's the thing. Like, people know that we have limitations, right? Like, I go to dunk a basketball, and like I hold the basketball and I stand at the hoop and I like jump up, and like halfway up the jump, I'm like, you're not going to make it, you know, like, but it's like a conscious thought in my head. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. And I'm aware of it. Right. And so you give sentience to this technology. And then all these other things that we've learned about is that like this sentience will just surpass humans. But I've never seen it done where the sentience goes, I can't learn this. Even with infinite possibilities, I can't do this. So there is a limitation to what I can do. That's way more interesting than whatever bullshit this is, which is just computer good, computer bad. That's lazy writing. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I don't really know. That's what was conveyed to me through their trailers. So if there
I'm telling you, that's what it's going to be.
Level,
that's what it's going to be. No, that's what it's going to be.
It was
100%.
not clear.
100%. That's what it's going to be.
I never thought about that either. That's interesting.
It's a better movie, right? It's a better movie.
It is. It's a better movie, but it's a different kind of movie, right?
It's like a buddy cop movie, but like a buddy cop movie that works.
Yeah, it's a buddy cop movie that requires a little bit more like input for the viewer.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean,
you don't think
so? You can still write that and just be like, I mean, because like people get it, right? Like people get, like, nobody understands computers. The only thing that they understand, like when computers reach sentience or whatever, because all these like smart people keep saying, you know, like computers are going to take over the world and we're all going to die or whatever. And so but that's all people know. They don't know how it's going to work. They don't understand the mechanics. They don't understand any of that. The only thing they know is that smart people say, right? Like Stephen Hawking, you know, he just kept saying it, whatever, like all these smart, like physicists and all these people, they're like, you know, computers are going to kill us, basically. Like, that's what they keep saying.
Yeah.
That's all people know. They don't know. But what that means in their head, like, the switch that's flipped is computers are more powerful than people. That's all they know. So when they go into a movie like this, they go, oh, the computer's more powerful.
Yeah.
All you have to do in there is basically make the computer say, like, and don't do it hacky, like where you're going to write, like the computer goes, I can't figure this out, you know, whatever, beep, boop, beep, or whatever. Like, that's not going to work. But the computer just basically has to convey one or two lines. And it's actually not even lines. Really, the best way to do it is like to have the computer not be able to figure something out, like not be able to figure out a better way to do something, like some sort of action, and then have this guy sort of do that for him, so that you can kind of see what's happening. Or the computer fails in some way and he's like, I need help. But the reason he needs help is not because he's overwhelmed, even though that's like, so that's actually what you would do, right? Like at the beginning of the movie, you'd have the computer basically fail, and it would look like it's because it was overwhelmed, right? Mm-hmm. But there would be a moment of indecision there. There would be a moment of indecision with the computer itself, and the computer wouldn't know like what to do. And then all these people would come, right? Like all these little kids or what, I don't know, whoever is coming. I guess kids are on his side, all the adults, whatever. They would come and they would like overwhelm him and he'd have to like run away, right? And so you're looking at the computer and you're like, oh man, this guy needs help because he doesn't have enough reinforcements. But then later, when the guy shows up, what you realize is that the computer was not asking for help because he was outmanned, because they're still going to be outmanned. It's just the two of them, right? So it's not because he was outmanned, but it's because this guy brings something to the table in a way. He looks at the world in a way in which the computer literally cannot grasp from a mental capacity standpoint. He cannot understand what this guy is seeing, right? He can't put himself. That's a way more interesting movie, and it's actually not that hard because people can see that. Because at the beginning, people will assume, oh, it's because he was overwhelmed because computers can do everything. And so it was the human manpower that overpowered him. But that's not the case, right? That's not the case.
Yeah.
It's actually because he couldn't see. That
does seem like a way better movie. I want you to guess what the IMDb rating is for this movie.
Well, it's sci-fi. People do love sci-fi. I'm gonna go 7-1.
It is 5.3.
Whoa!
It is by and large the lowest rated movie we have ever talked about. Granted, it's new. More people can start watching it, but I would say it has more 1 stars than anything
100%.
scrolling through.
Fantastic.
People are not happy with Netflix for putting out this movie.
Love it. Love it. See, these people get it. These people are starting to understand what's happening. I love the audience. I love humans. I'm pro-human. Fuck the robots. I agree. Don't pander to people. That's the thing. Don't pander. People are smarter than everybody gives them credit for, right? They're like, oh, well, let's just give them a bunch of garbage and they'll just eat that shit up. And I'm like, yes, people do eat up garbage. Like that happens all the time. We all have our fucking brain candy that we go to. But when you do something so stark, like computer good, computer bad, it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because people are like, I've seen this. I know this. My movie, people haven't seen. That's way more interesting. They would be way more into that. I'm telling you, they would. They just would. 2
genres that people watch a lot of movies and have seen a lot of sci-fi AI type stuff, and then a war movie, a military movie, and they did nothing interesting with either of those.
This is basically like District 9.
Even if you,
I mean, they've already made it, right? They've already made this. They've already seen it. Like District 9, which I thought was fine, but a lot of people liked it. A lot of people liked District 9. It's almost the exact same plot, right? I mean, like not exactly, but I mean, it's
but
it's
how many years old is District 9 now?
But that's the thing, right? So like they didn't even change it in the last 15 years.
That was a newer idea, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like 15
no,
years ago. Whereas now we actually have had some experience in real life with AI. So nothing with AI is that absurd.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first time. We know it's happening.
I agree. I actually like that new segment. I think we should do that new segment, the rating segment. I like that.
I know. I was going to introduce that.
Like
that was a surprise today.
No, that's really good.
But
I like that.
I'm introducing that.
Fantastic.
My favorite review is a 1 out of 10, and script written by an air dryer is the title.
Nice. I like that. That's pretty good. It doesn't surprise me, honestly. Like that again. This is so stark. Like that's why I was like, fuck these people. Like that's so stark. It's so starkly bad. Like it's so obvious. The plot of this is so obvious that you just need a little bit of nuance. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of nuance. Like, oh, computer good, but he plays with kids. Like what? Like go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like I've seen that. I've seen that with humans. Like I've already seen. All you're doing is you're just introducing, basically, a computer as a human character in a movie that I've already seen like 50 times. You know, so. I'm glad. I like that the audience is understanding this. I get it. It's thumbs down for me.
Apparently, everyone's like, "Can Netflix is super rich? Can you at least hire someone, a vet who is an advisor in the movie?"
100%.
Apparently, they also refer to Ukraine as part of the Balkans, which is very off. And that's a very and so someone's
I'll be 100%
talking
honest
about
with
a
you.
geography lesson.
Have no idea where the Balkans are. Couldn't tell you.
Balkans are more going to be in like Mediterranean area.
Honest to God, don't know where Ukraine is. Couldn't tell you.
Next to Russia.
Those seem like the same.
Sounds like someone else needs a geography lesson. The thing is, though, is you don't work for Netflix and you're not trying to make a really hit movie where people are going to hate you for not spending maybe like $1,000 to get someone to tell you that, or opening your own book. So
is why I don't talk about geography on this show. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter to me. But it just shows more lazy writing. I agree. It's 2 thumbs down for me. What is your rating? What are you giving it?
2 thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
These aren't genres I'm super interested in. So even without The influence of other people, I still probably wouldn't want to watch it.
And it's trending number 2. Tough day for Netflix. Tough day for Netflix.
Yeah,
People are
I don't
bored.
think
They
it's
are
gonna
right, though.
trend
They are right.
much
People will watch
longer.
it. People will watch it.
Outside the Wire. I think the title's good.
Yeah, I think my prison
The
movie would
title
have been way
sounds
better.
good. The title is the
movie,
best part of the movie.
My prison movie would
Yeah.
have been better. 100%. I agree.
I agree.
That's
This
it.
is- I think this is the first time where I strongly believe you were better than the plot.
No, we definitely had them before for sure. 100%. We definitely had them before. We had that Santa one where Santa was like trying to bang that girl.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
And then he got drunk or something. I can't remember what happened in it, but I know for sure in that one that you really like my plot. My plot was really good in that one, 100%.
Okay.
I think you also like my plot on the one where the girl is just an hour-long opening scene of a girl shopping. I think you really like that plot as well.
Oh yeah.
That one was pretty good.
Those are old.
If you're watching this and you like what we've done and you haven't seen anything or you haven't seen that episode, go check out that episode. I honestly don't even remember what it was. Like, I can't remember. It's like the Christmas slipper or some shit.
We haven't posted that one because
we haven't posted it.
That was because it was before our current.
Oh, we should
platform.
definitely post. We should definitely post that because that's an unbelievable. That's an unbelievable. That's honestly that might be the best thing I've ever done in my whole life. Honestly,
that is a good one.
It's a fantastic. It's basically me just talking for like 10 minutes about this opening scene. It's
the Christmas shopper or like the Christmas
something like that.
Or
the
something
shopping,
like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll bring it out of the vault.
Yeah, so go check that one out for sure, 100%. If you
we'll
got
add that
ideas,
as a bonus this week.
Yeah, if you got other ideas of stuff that that you think we should watch or rate, or you got comments or questions or whatever, you can email us. What's the email?
The email is info.plotting@gmail.com.
All right, so you can hit us up there. Otherwise, say, you know what? We appreciate everybody watching and listening and all of that. We will be back next time with another movie. We'll see you then.